What's up, everyone? With me this month is Mr. Fulcrum The Force, Jim Bennett.
Hello.
What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be sat next to you, my friend.
You know what? We were just saying this a second ago before we started recording this. It's very rare that we get on.
We don't
by
ever
ourselves.
get a chance. Yeah, just me and you, just chatting stuff. Yeah,
Never ever get a chance. So listen, thanks for taking the time. For coming on for this
Always.
exciting little. I'm quite excited by this little project we started. We had episode 1 with Blue Mamba, which went
legend,
swimmingly, awesome. Talking about his Vader collection. Wow, that boy's got a lot of Vader stuff. Wow. Not
good
as much
for him. I like the fact that he's found one thing and he's focusing on it. That's dope.
Yeah.
Like, people don't do that a lot. I mean, I don't. I'm all over the place. But the fact that he's like,
Snap.
I'm going to specifically just do this and I'm going to get every version of it, I think it's awesome. It's something different as well because nobody else does it. It's cool.
You don't see it a lot these days, to be honest. No. It's like people like, I'm myself, I'm guilty. I've just got everything smattered, like, oh, I like this, I like that, I like this. I don't have a particularly favorite character, but he's like, dude, Vader is his guy,
That's
so
cool.
it was.
That's
it
cool.
was
I
awesome.
wish it'd be a lot cheaper.
Oh, it would be, right? Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely, it would be. But no, he's got an awesome Vader collection. Not even just Sabers, just like old comics and figurines and stuff that's still in box and just,
nice.
Sweet. But that was last month. This is this month.
Yay.
So, thanks for taking the time and coming on and talking to us about all your stuff. So, essentially, we're going to start off with your first lightsaber. What was your first lightsaber?
Okay, so I don't actually have it here.
No, that's okay.
My first ever lightsaber was it was just an LGT mystery box.
Right.
I mean, it depends how far you want to go back.
What would you
want to go back?
What would you consider being your first proper lightsaber? Because if you're to ask me, I would say a Qui-Gon Jinn flicky out that had 99.
Yeah, you see,
everyone's
if we're going
different.
back. Let's go with one that works. Yeah, that's not just like a light up torch. Then it's probably going to be one of the original master replicas. It was. I got Vader's first.
Vader's one. Yeah. Was it the ESB or the New Hope?
Do
you remember?
New Hope.
A New Hope.
It was. Yeah.
I loved the master replica stuff.
I
had so much. I mean, I pretty much had all of it at one point. But that Vader one though was probably one of my favorites in the whole collection.
Yeah.
Like, if we go back nearly, 20 years ago, they started producing it. I think the first one that came out was the Anakin Attack of the Clones with that old kind of EL blade, that electroluminescent wire that ran up the blade that just kind of came on and came off. And if you tapped the blade too hard, it would just snap.
Yep.
Proper old school tech. Good times. Absolutely good times. From there, from the kind of MR stuff, what kind of, obviously you have a lot of Lego, we'll get into that a little bit later on. But in terms of sabers, from the kind of MR stuff, what kind of path did you take and how kind of long in between and whatnot?
So it was, I got that, I got the Luke, and I got the Mace Windu. And they were my everything at the time, and they're on their little black stands, sat on my, lovely.
One of these?
One of those.
One of those.
Nice. They're so cool. They still, and the thing is, you could set it up so that you could actually have them on the wall as well.
Yep, they've got little grooves in the back, so
which is insane. Like, one of the best saber holders you could get, and it just came with it. So I had those three, and then I had children, so I sold everything that I owned.
As you do, yes,
because that's what you do. You have to make ends meet, and and I had to do what I needed to do at the time, and they didn't seem like I needed them. You know,
sure.
I regretted it almost instantly.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially when the Mace one went, because the Mace one was real nice. They did that.
I think for me personally, just real quick, the Mace one was probably even though the Vader was one of my favourites, the Mace one was definitely the nicest produced one, I think,
It
out
was
of the
so
whole
well
MR
done.
collection.
And the button that it had was just the little golden. It just slid up and slid
up,
down.
and that was it. The back grip,
beautiful.
the grip on the back, it was all nice and textured and kind of stamped and imprinted, and it was. But it took. Do you remember? It took 6 AA's.
Yeah, madness,
like
absolute
madness, man. Like,
but
so
they were
nice.
amazing. But I had to get rid of them. I had to sell them. I needed food and things like you do when you're 20 years ago, however old I was then. No, when my kids came along when I was like 27.
Yep.
And I just needed to do what I needed to do. So I got rid of those, and that was it for a long while. And then I was like, I really want that Luke one back because it's my favorite.
ESB or was it Return of the Jedi?
Return of the Jedi. It's my favorite hilt of every single hilt that there is. It's my favorite. So I was like, and in my head, it was perfect.
Yes.
And so I was like, I need to buy that. And it was probably 5 years ago that it was available again.
Yep. Was it Hasbro that time, was it?
Hasbro, yeah. So I bought that and I loved it. And I absolutely loved it. And to me, it was perfect. And until you start realizing how not perfect it is, it's the best.
That's the thing, is they're great replicas, but that's really to the point of what they are, as they are replicas, and the main focal point is the hilt, as the meat and potatoes, the electronic kind of guts almost kind of take a back seat, especially these days. Well, this is the thing. Like, back when it was Master Replica, it was great because like you didn't have really anything,
No, there was no other option.
There really wasn't. I mean, your Crystal Focus was kind of sneaking in late 2000s. Maybe Nano Biscotti as well, but like nothing had smooth swing. So everything was on really the same par. The only difference would be was like a lot of people were doing blade conversions where they were taking the stock blades out and putting Luxian in.
Yeah.
Like early Tri-Kree kind of Luxian, which was a lot brighter actually than the in-hilt, sort of the in-blade LEDs at the time. So a lot of people chose to do that and actually strip that feature off the up and down and just go for Luxian. I knew a lot of people back in the day that were doing that online and in the forums. And I couldn't bring myself to do it because I loved having that up and down, and for me that was everything.
I mean, that's what makes it a lightsaber,
Exactly.
And so I loved it, but then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, that choke's completely wrong. It's a thin neck, and that's not a thin neck.
Yeah, right.
It's not even metal. That part's plastic, and the more you look at it, the more you're like, I don't like this. So that's when I was like, I started to kind of get into the whole now lightsabers. So I'd seen them here and there, but I started to go to and this even wasn't that long ago. My collection's gone from 0 to 1,000 very quickly.
Dude, I have watched your collection grow over the past
madness, absolute madness.
In fact, I've got a confession. When I was looking at Sabers round about a year ago, some of your videos were the first ones that I've seen, and I was like, "Yeah, I need to grab something like this."
Yeah. So it was. Oh Jesus! Mid to late 2019. Wait, was that before the world shut? That was before the world shut.
That was before the world shut down.
Yeah. So I'd moved away from London. Doesn't matter where I went. And I was near my friend, and there was a lightsaber dueling class.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Do you want to come along? They're dueling with lightsabers." I'm like, yes, I do. Sign me up. Come, let's go now. And we got there. Yeah, we got there, and the guy that ran it, Master Swordsman, and his whole deal was like, I used to teach sword fighting nobody wants to learn how to sword fight now. But if you tell people I can teach you how to fight with a lightsaber, all of a sudden his numbers went through the roof.
Naturally.
Smart.
Yeah.
But they had single LED on and off saber.
Yep.
And that blew my mind.
Perfect for dueling.
Because I was like, wait, I could have this and I could use this. No sound in it, but I was like, this is incredible. And of course, then I started actually like properly fighting with it, and that was super fun. So yeah, like I said, that was late 2019.
Yeah,
it was my first introduction to the saber community as it is now, I guess. So my first saber from then was a mystery box. I'm not going to name where I got it from. It's an LGT mystery box.
Yep.
And it was bought for me as a present.
The best kind of sabers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
While I was waiting for that, I went to a Comic-Con. And there was a guy who had a stall, and his name was Sai, and he had this stall called Sai's Sabers, right? And he did your standard basic turn on and turn off sabers. Yep. None there, like just to show, none to sell. But he also did custom sabers. And I was like, oh, it would be cool to own a custom saber so that when I went to saber practice, I could use it. So I drew a rudimentary, terrible drawing and gave it to him. And I went, I want something like this. And 3 days later, he came back with this beautiful like rendition of what I had in my brain. And so I commissioned him to make that. It was, because this is way back, it was single LED, no sound. Because custom hilt on its own, you're talking, I think I paid 280 quid.
Yeah, easily.
Not a small amount of money without electronics.
Yeah.
The minute you add electronics, you know, we all know.
£300, £400, £600, depending on the
prices
tier.
Go insane. Absolutely. And I was like, look, I can afford this, but I can't afford that. So I was like, that's what I wanted as well, because I was going to use it for dueling. And so I didn't want too much going on, because I didn't want to worry about too much going wrong with it. While I was waiting for that, I got my mystery box, and I fell in love with it, because all of a sudden I had this, it was just an RGB, but obviously it had all the different sounds, all the different colors, clash, you know, and I was like, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, this is incredible. This is just absolute next level. And that's where things went wrong.
And that's where the story begins.
Yeah. And so then the first...
Yep, that's me. And you might wonder how I got myself into this situation.
Well, it all started one day. So what I noticed, the instant thing that I noticed was the bottom of the saber had a thread.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, can you connect two of these together? And so I messaged the seller and I was like, can you connect two of these together? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, if I ordered another mystery box, would it fit? He's, yep. Check.
As you do.
At the exact same time, they had a Luke Skywalker hilt. And I was like, well, I'm going to need that as a replacement for my Hasbro one. Obviously, I rebought the Hasbro one, but as a better one, and it looked gorgeous on the picture.
And this one's got a proper thin neck, right? It's not one of these.
It's proper. It's nice. Obviously, if you jump forward to now, I'm not happy with it. But back then, it was perfect. You know, again,
yeah, absolutely.
It's that whole hindsight thing, and you're like. So I bought that at the same time. So I'd basically gone from none to 4 in about 3 months. And then it spiraled. It snowballed. It just, you know, and then I don't even know what happened. Like, I genuinely don't know what happened after that. I can't remember the next saber I bought. I can't remember where I got it from. All I know is that now my house is full of them.
I almost feel like I need to take part responsibility for some of this.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do, right? Because I was happy as Larry. I was happy as Larry, sitting there with my little RGBs going pew 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 pew. And Sam comes along. He's like, "Well, you really need to try NeoPixel." And I'm like, "I don't need to get into all of that. I'm just happy with the hilt and how it looks and stuff like that." And I think what I did was my first NeoPixel saber. I bought a NeoPixel core from Padawan Outpost.
That's
And a
right.
blade.
I
I
remember
bought
that.
their Profi kit. Because I had a
Fantastic
LGT hit.
kit, by the way. Fantastic.
Incredible.
Kit.
Like it's the simplest of things on the planet to
Yep.
use. You literally unscrew it, slide it in, screw it in, you're done.
Yep. Love
and
it.
that was my first introduction to it. And I got it and I put it in, and the minute I turned the blade on and it went, I was like, oh, Samuel. And
I remember I got a DM from you like, dude, can you show me how to do Profi? And I was like, yeah, sure. But the thing is, like, and this isn't a bit disparaging comment to anyone who can't understand Profi, because it is a bit of a curve.
Yeah.
But you're quite technically minded, you know? And it was like 25 minutes, half an hour, and then it had just gone, all right, okay. And it clicked with you. And that night you're sitting, sending me videos of like split blades and all this crazy stuff.
I got insane. I just, when I learn stuff like that, I just run with it and I see what I can do. I like to push my limits. I like to push as far as I can go, to the point where I'm genuinely like, I don't know what I'm doing. So for me, I was like, right, I'm going to throw a load of sounds on here. I'm going to start playing around with the blade styles. Once you get this sort of premise of it, it's relatively straightforward.
Absolutely.
But that first initial plug this into your computer, and I'm like, huh? That was scary.
The scariest bit of Profi, if you're not using a Mac, because Mac natively talks to it, but if you're not using a Mac, you need to use this little bit of software called Zadig. And Zadig has the power to mess up your entire computer, because it's a driver control software, and you need to correctly identify the Profi board when it's connected to the PC and go into, obviously, and find it. And if you pick the wrong thing, you could completely fry your gaming keyboard or your RAM slot or something. So that's the only thing about Profi that I say to someone, like, make sure that you are choosing the right thing here, or you're going to mess something up really bad.
And I'm super glad I had you there to talk me through that, because that's easy done.
So easy done.
Yeah. So thankfully, ever since that first time, I haven't had to flash any of the boards that I've had.
See, this is where you and I are different, because I now natively use my MacBook, which is, it died. I revived it, and now it's running like a piece of crap. I use that purely now for Profi, because every single time I connect my board to my PC, it doesn't recognize it. So I need to select it again, or I just need to press the buttons and put it into bootloader again. It's so frustrating. So I'm glad that you don't have that issue.
Yeah, no, every single time, every new board I've plugged in, it's instantly recognized it. I've not had to do anything.
I don't know what it is with me, man. It's just my luck with electronics.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw your video, yeah.
Yo, that installation video wasn't actually that bad, by the way. Like, the whole experience of, I tell you what, Ryan was great.
Yeah, I mean, he's a super chill dude. So,
like, he was just so, like, we got there, had a little chat, had a laugh for a little bit, you know, and we kind of sat down, and he's like, right, on you go then. And I'm like, yeah, right. And you know what? He sat, and we got everything out, and he explained everything, and he explained his methodology and all that kind of stuff. And he was just super patient and super cool, and what a nice guy. And you know, he's friggin' awesome. So I'm forever in debt, because that is going to save me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous amount of money. So
no, for sure.
Plus, it's something I've always wanted to do as well. Like, even way back in the MR days, and people were doing Luxian conversions that we just spoken about, I was always intrigued as to how to actually do a custom install.
Yeah.
You know, because it's very interesting. I like to challenge myself. And I'm quite I like to think I'm technically minded. I'm not, but I like to think I am. But it's a overly simplistic, underly complex situation. You know, it's not difficult. It requires patience and concentration, is what I'll say. So
I had a problem where one of my, I mean, it's not NeoPix or anything, but one of my RGB boards came out of one of my Sabers. I managed to fix that. It's easy.
Exactly, that's the thing.
When you know where things have to go,
yeah,
it's just like, okay, fine. Most of the time, the hardest part is actually getting it to look good.
Well, that's the thing as well, that we spent a good 45 minutes on planning cable routing,
Yeah.
And it was like, right, okay, so let's just, what way is the board going to go? How's it going to be orientated? And how long does this need to be? And right, okay, these are going to go here, so we can clip them there and they'll be fine there. But the other side needs to be longer and it needs to tail back on itself. So that's probably the hardest part of the whole process, to be honest, is really planning out your kind of your wire management,
Yeah.
Anyone
have you seen you ever watched the guy Star Wars in real life?
Yes, he did an Ezra one.
I love that. I mean, it was a sequence over sort of like 4 or 5 months of him trying to do this, and you saw and it was proper everything. You could see him doing everything. You could see how frustrated he was getting. I'm like, your first Saber, is that really one to go ahead and try and install?
It's probably not, but you know what? It's damn impressive.
Super impressive. I mean, the fact that he's even got the
blaster as well,
and the blaster going off.
Yeah,
incredible. But I'm like,
absolutely.
No. I'd find the simplest of hilts. I'd use a Revan, because that bad voice was straight up and down.
That was the original plan. Actually, was I was going to get a chassis kit for the Ultimate Works Revan that I have and convert that to Profi. And then I made the fatal mistake of asking Ryan, by the way, what kind of hilts do you have that you're looking to kind of sell? And he was immediately like, I've got 2 SK Rogues and a Star Killer Crystal Reveal. And for a good hour, I was like, cool, Star Killer Crystal Reveal.
Yep.
And then it sunk in. I was like, wait a minute, first install Star Killer, it would be impressive, but we don't have that much time because he's 3 hours away from me.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, you know what? Let's go with the SK Rogue because it's a lovely, beautiful hilt. Beautiful hilt. I'll show you afterwards. But a much more simplistic install, So that the Star Wars in real life, doing that Ezra first, impressed. Insane, impressed. Bravo.
Yeah.
So we've gone over your first Saber. Let's talk about your current collection.
Okay.
So we know, I know that you've just recently had that custom one that you had done. That's just been converted by our lovely friend Izzy.
Yes.
Ashleet Customs. Go and check her out. England based. Do not be put off, and this is something I have to say. Do not be put off at the fact that she's female. She does some of the most fantastic install work in the UK, and I'm so glad that we've found people like Ryan and Izzy. Because
I have nothing but good words to say about her.
They're so capable, so capable. Their installs are so clean,
professional level, 100%.
Exactly, and they deserve so much plaudits and all the praise for what they do, 100%. So definitely go and check out Ashleet Customs and Black Star Sabers. Black Star Sabers is kind of more my guy because I'm up in Scotland and I can travel up and whatnot. But I will be using Izzy for some bits and pieces as well. I believe she's actually got a Star Killer this week to install.
She is.
She's doing Jamie's Star Killer, I think.
She is. Yep. She's currently working on that.
Yep, she's hyped about that. So again, go and look at her Instagram, Ashleet Customs. You'll see all of her install work.
Yep.
So she converted that one for you.
Yes.
And obviously you've got some smatterings of stuff since then. But the stuff that we haven't discussed.
Have I got smatterings of stuff since then?
You've got a pretty impressive staircase.
I know I've got ones. Wait, have I got more than
I will edit in a picture of Jim's staircase into this.
I'll take the most recent picture for you so you can see it because
perfect.
So I always had this thing in my head. I was like, I want my lightsabers up my staircase, right?
Yeah.
I want them to light my staircase. And my first 4, they were up there and they look great. And I was like, that's great, but it needs to reach the top. So it reached the top. And then I came back down again. Now I've had to take it around the corner a little bit just because I didn't have the space. And in my head, I was like, listen, right, you've got so many spaces up your staircase. When you've maxed that out, if you want a new one, you have to get rid of an old one.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
But
I have 2 sabers sat just kind of leaning up against there, and I have got this one behind me just because it's, you know, it's just a spare little space. But
just a spare little space.
well, nothing else is going on there. I may as well put a lightsaber there, you know.
I love it, man. I love it.
So yeah, so I'll send you a picture of the
Please
most
do.
recent
I can put that in and show everyone because
there's a crossguard there.
Staircase.
There's a crossguard there now as well. So
nice.
Yeah, and I do have more on the way, and I have plans. Oh,
yeah, you're not getting rid of nothing, dude.
Well, so here's the thing, right? So again, this is mostly your fault. Okay, so,
I'll take that every day of the week.
So, like, I got a Profi core. I put it in my saber. That was the first one I had. I then bought some extra bits from Padawan Outpost. Got another Profi core for it in another saber, right? And then I was like, I'm going to buy a Profi saber, full on. And I didn't buy it. I got it for Christmas. But my sister got me their Kane and Jarrus.
Beautiful, lovely.
Which is absolutely lovely, and it's full on.
To be fair, if I didn't have the Asteria heart from Pack Store,
yeah,
I probably would have got that one and not the Ultimate Works.
The Ultimate Works is nice though because it's got the little.
It's beautiful, but it worked out the same for me. It worked out the same price because I already had the heart, which is removable and replaceable. So, and if I hadn't have had that, I would have gone with because the LGT one is.
It's so nice. It's definitely one of the best that they've done. I think anyway, personally. If you want to see me review it, it's on my channel.
Yeah, definitely go and I'll put a link down below or go and follow and subscribe, guys.
Yeah, please. We're nearly there.
Nearly there.
Nearly there. So I decided to just get that full on Profi, and I did, and that was great. And then I got my custom one, which I'll show you in a second, installed with CFX because I was like, I want to try it. I want to try something different.
Quick,
I want to see how that works.
How are you finding CFX?
Do you know what? I haven't played with it as much as I want to. It's very easy to deal with.
Yep.
That's for sure. I'm enjoying the fact that everything is done via a menu as opposed to having to write code for it. That's great. Now, the other thing is that I've not upgraded any of my sabers to OS 6 for Profi yet. Because I'm like, listen, right, I've just got CFX saber. I need to get my head around that before I then start playing with something else, a new config, a new menu system. I need to figure one before I go on to the other.
I'm exactly the same at the moment because I've just kind of got my head around OS 6, but I'm still kind of getting there with it. And we've just put a Golden Harvest V3, pardon me, sorry, a Golden Harvest V3 into the SK Rogue, and I've just kind of left it. It's still in the box. I don't want to even try to work it out.
It's too much brain overload.
I completely feel where you're coming from there, by the way.
So I'm going to get, like this weekend, I actually planned out an entire weekend just around my CFX lightsaber so I can sit and I can play with it. I've been able to play with some things, like I've built a blade style within the in-hill editor, which is insane.
Yep.
Because to do that on Profi, you have to sit there, write code, plug it in, unplug it, mount it, unmount it. And 4 hours later, you're like, that's not exactly how I wanted it. Let's start all over again.
The wonderful world of Profi.
Yeah. So, but ultimately, so you've now made me think of Profi in a different way and NeoPixel in a different way as well. So at the top of my stairs, I have a lightsaber case built for me, custom made. And in it is my Luke Skywalker hilt, my LGT Luke Skywalker hilt, because it's my favorite canon hilt, right?
Yep.
But every time I walk past it, I'm like, that's wrong. Every time I walk past it, I'm like, it's missing that, you know, and I'm like, I want to do that one properly. So I have my plan of what I'm going to do. My next step is 7 Chambers Mom, because for me, I think it's the closest to the screen replica one you can get.
I would, but I would argue that one, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't argue it fully on. You're not wrong. You are right. I prefer the KR Eco Hero.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
But then again, I think, you know, it's down to your personal preference as well. Like nobody's wrong in what their favorite style of hilt is, because at the end of the day, you and I both know that in one film there can be 3 different versions of the same hilt.
Oh, at least.
So it's just like no one of them is correct.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
But I know how much more correct it is.
Yeah.
Than the one that I have, and also from looking at all of the different ones, that's the one that's drawn me in the most. That's the one that I've looked at and I've gone.
It's funny you say that, because I recently, a couple months back, got Jazz and Dave from Padawan Outpost set me up a couple of thin necks, because I was like, I don't have a lot of thin necks in my collection. The only one that I had was
got the Luke, didn't you?
I've got the Luke and the Obi-Wan. And I love the look. It's everything. The only thing for me is it's just a little bit at the top on the emitter. I can live with it. I can live with it.
See, I can't now.
But you're going to hate me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't shown you something yet.
What haven't you shown me? Oh, no.
This isn't mine. This is Ryan's. This is the KR Eco Hero.
Oh, it's nice. It's so... Look at it.
And I'll tell you the only reason I prefer this to the Mum is the Mum is more brassy here.
Yeah.
It's more shiny. More shiny, shiny. And I just prefer it a little bit dulled out, like it is just now.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, no, that is... Like, that's a beauty, isn't it?
So Ryan graciously lent me this for a couple... Well, I don't know how long. The agreement was it'll either be sent back shortly or it'll be paid for. One of the two. So,
hey, you know what? Whatever comes first, right?
Can't complain. Can't complain. Sorry, get off track there.
No.
I thought
fine.
you'd appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I do. It is a beautiful piece of kit. But obviously, for me, that's an investment.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Because empty hilt, you're starting at 300 quid.
Yep.
Before
KR,
anything.
One thing that I will note is KR do a fantastic kit with the Eco Hero where you get everything with it. And it's like 300 and something pounds.
Which is nice. But then, also, I know that I've got enough pieces.
Yeah.
That, like, if I need it, I've got a Profi board. You know, I've got the bits that I need that I could take one of my... Because I essentially built a couple of sabers just from pieces from Padawan Outpost.
Absolutely.
I'm not like, I love them, but I'm not married to them.
Yeah.
I'll happily take that apart and use all the bits, you know. I'm sure the chassis won't work, but the parts will. So once you've already got a lot of the parts, it is a lot easier to then have that, especially when you know really talented people that can do it in a really nice way.
It would be very easy to just snip a Profi board loose from its connections and send that to someone like Izzy or Ryan, or and they can repurpose that board into something else.
And all of a sudden, you've got the main part of it right there.
Apart from the hilt, probably, unless you're going for a insanely intricate or metal chassis. No. The board's probably your most expensive piece.
I know people love getting their chassis. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm never going to look at it.
Yeah.
Right. Sure, I will get that installed with Profi, but it's going to sit there with one sound font on it.
Yep. One blade style.
And one blade style, and it's going to be finished.
Yep.
It doesn't need anything else. I want it to look right.
There are certain sabers like that in a collection where it's like that's what my Anakin's like, exactly the same. I literally have got the chosen one package on it from KSF. The kind of light and dark, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Since Kyber updated is Luke's. Nothing else touches it. I'm sorry, nothing else touches it. I love it. Like his blaster deflects on that are just next level. So I'm like done, and I know that I won't even have that up on the wall. That will go in the box. That will sit in its place where it should be. So that's where I'm going. So like anything else, I'm kind of stepping away from. He said,
and I've heard this a lot from you, Jim, over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
If I had, like 10 pence for every time I've heard you say I'm done, I would probably be able to retire.
But the problem is people keep releasing really nice lightsabers, and I can't help myself. Okay.
Well, is it a problem or is it a gift? That's the thing.
I mean, so obviously I had to get Ahsoka Tano's. I've got both versions of Ahsoka Tano's. Had to. She's my favorite character.
I was going to actually ask you about those because both LGT's versions are ridiculous. Yes. I know you've got you've got the LGT Rebels / Mando ones. Is it the Force Sabers, Clone Wars ones you've got?
Yeah.
Those Mando ones though, like, oh my god, they are, and of course he has them. Of course he has them.
What I like about these so much, so these are just baselit, and there is part of me that's like,
you could totally use the chassis inside it
exactly. Just upgrade it. They've got thinner blades,
7/8 inch blade, I think.
Yeah, so they're very Rebels, which I dig. Rebels is my favorite. So, but they're perfect.
They're beautiful.
I
knew you would have them next to you. I knew you would.
Of course I would.
They're
for me, like they're them, and I love them.
And it just goes to show you as well, because it's one of the things. I know you have quite a lot of LGT stuff.
I do, yeah.
And you've got a great relationship and affiliation with Force Sabers UK, who, by the way, do some great stuff. Everything's handmade. Everything is basically
literally handmade. Yeah. Did you see that video the other day?
Seen the video, yeah.
Of them actually making them. I'm like, that's so dope.
Yep, fantastic. I mean, if you're even if you're not in the UK, they have some fantastic designs. And they now do Xeno V2 as well, don't they? A lot of their stuff's Xeno V2. Yep. So definitely go and check them out. If you're looking for something then they are fairly cheap as well. For something that's handmade.
It's insane. The prices that they charge are actually insane.
It's a steal. I'm going to actually have to bite the bullet and get something soon, I think.
I do have a lot by them because I like how they make their hilts and I like how they build them and I like how they look when they come out. I love LGT stuff, but I do find quite a lot of the time they're too shiny.
Because it's a cultural thing. It is a cultural thing. Us as Brits don't mind things being a little bit bashed up and dirty. But at the same time...
It's because we are.
It's because we are bashed up and dirty, But when you do have a lot of the kind of budget stuff, because it is budget, is it the best quality? No, it's not the best quality. Pretty damn good quality.
Oh, it's great quality. It's just not
fantastic. But it kind of almost has to be that kind of shiny way because it is
otherwise
budget.
It will look
because it's a psychological thing, and the manufacturers know that.
Yeah, and that's why they do.
Why it is exactly,
and that's totally cool. Like that hits so many levels.
Yeah,
but sometimes you just want something to hit a bit different.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that, for me, that's where Force Sabers come in, because their stuff is, it feels handmade, but not in a bad way. It feels handmade,
Yeah.
like there's love gone into every hill, and that's what I enjoy about them.
There's one hilt in particular that LGT do that I wish it wasn't as clean, and that's actually the Obi-Wan episode 4, which I've got some. I think it's that one there.
Yeah.
There. That
Yeah.
one right there.
By that point, it's rusty, it's old,
Yeah.
it needs to be a bit grubby.
It's too clean, you know.
Yeah.
Episode 3 one,
Beautiful
perfect,
hilt.
great. But the Ep 4 needs to be a little bit more kind of,
especially round the main part. That bit needs to, the black part is too shiny. It needs to be, there needs to be grit in there, and needs to be getting brown.
It wouldn't take 2 seconds to get a bit of sandpaper in the factory and go, and just to take the kind of edges off and have that metal kind of shown through, and rather than having that kind of gold piece under the emitter, just do it black, just do it matte black, carboned up, you know, just do it, and then have the same kind of, you know, effect on the emitter. Just do it matte black, bit of sandpaper, you know, and it makes it look 100, and that's what I'm going to do with that one actually, is I'm going to do that. It makes it look 100 times better just because that's the way it's supposed to be. But again, you know, you're not wrong. A lot of that stuff is too shiny, and if you want something that's just a bit bare and a bit raw, Force Sabers.
Don't get me wrong, when they shiny stuff up, it looks well nice, but it still looks proper because it's built hardcore, you know. And I've got one. This one that's here is my Iron Maiden. That one came to me raw before they'd finished, and it's, I mean, I think it's luscious. I love the way they're doing it.
It's a beautiful how I can see the big black rubber eyes.
It's just, I mean, it's just a beast. Like, it's just,
that's a weapon.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you could not have that in public. You could not take that to a convention.
No, never.
There's rules against that stuff.
This is like Game of Thrones meets the Eye of Sauron. You know? And it's just like, you can do some damage with this properly. I mean, it's a beast. It doesn't feel heavy, though, to hold it. It feels like a good weight. It doesn't feel like crazy heavy. But I like that about them, and I like it how they do it, and I like their company. I like the people. That always makes a difference to me. Like Jazz and Dave, and the guys at Force Sabers, like we've been in this community long enough to have good customer experience and bad customer experience.
Oh yes.
So when you do deal with those nice people, you go back to them every single time because you're just like, I like these people, I like who they are, I like what they stand for, and ultimately I want to support them because they're all small businesses at the end of the day.
That's the thing. The vast, and people don't realize this, is that the vast majority of businesses in the kind of custom kind of Saber community are small family businesses. You know,
for sure.
They're not all like Saber Forge and all that kind of stuff, you know. They are small family businesses. Okay, some of them ran better than others, but it makes me appreciate the likes of Paddle Outpost a lot more because, you know, I grew up in private enterprise as a kid, you know, in restaurants and whatnot, and I appreciate the work and the stress and everything else that never stop. You're self-employed, you know what I'm talking about, you know.
Absolutely.
It never stops. You're always, there's always something to do, you know.
There's no clocking off time.
There's no clocking off. Even when you're technically off the clock, your mind's still going, you know. And if you look at
the emails still come through, and you still read them.
Oh yeah,
You know,
you're lying in bed at 1 o'clock in the morning watching TV. Email comes through, inquiry. You're gonna read it because it's a natural thing. Yeah. And the likes of, you know, Jazz and Dave and people like them that own and run these businesses for our benefit, you know. Okay, they obviously make a living out of it. That's what a business is,
point, right?
Exactly. And anyone that thinks differently is
an idiot.
Correct. I take my hat off to them. They are such wonderful, lovely, hard-working people. You know,
they're always so upbeat as well
and honest. Like, you know, I've literally got to the point now where I'm like, I've messaged Dave, like, Dave, do you have this in stock? Yeah, cool. Send me one up. Sending you the cast just now. Send one up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, when I got my cross guard, I messaged him and I was like, what's that model Zara of yours like? What's it actually like?
Yeah.
And he like put it on his kitchen table and took a photo of it, and he sent it back. He was like, it's pretty nice. I was like, sold.
That's what I mean. You know, I'll get it out to tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, and he would like, dude, didn't manage to get that out today. I'll get it out tomorrow, and sure enough, like you'll get a DHL email halfway through the day. You know,
for sure.
Honest, hardworking people.
Yeah,
you know,
that's all you want.
Businesses like that build. They are the foundation of this community. You know, and so Paramount Post and Force Sabers and people that take the time. And you know what? I would probably say this is more true of Force Sabers, you know, because they hand make everything. Completely undervaluing their work.
For
completely.
For sure.
You know, like handmade. I watched that video.
It's mad, isn't it?
How much time and polishes and pass of on the lathe, and how many passes of a polishing wheel or a sander, or it's just like for one hilt,
single hilt. You're like,
for one hilt,
and their lead times are 12 to 15 weeks. That's nothing.
It's nothing.
That's nothing for that. And also, they're honest about their lead times.
Yeah, a lot of companies aren't.
No.
Right. So we've talked about your first saber. We've talked about your kind of current collection. Now it's time to talk about your.
We got really carried away with that lightsaber talk, didn't we?
Dream saber. Now I know you've got the one that you've designed, right?
You mean this beautiful piece
of
absolutely gorgeous loveliness,
right there? This is the one that Izzy from Kashyyyk Customs recently.
You should have seen upgraded. What it was before. It was. I'll send you a picture so you could put that up as well. It was basically like this really big silver flashlight, and now it's just an absolute beast.
Oh, I love that, man. That's so good.
Right?
So good.
And that's obviously my custom sound font.
And that's your custom sound font. I was just going to say. Is that available on your merch store?
No. It's through Phoenix Saber Fonts. I let him keep the rights to it so he could sell it because I wanted him to be able to make money from it.
Oh, right. So is that a stab at me because I didn't?
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, I think, I think at the end of the day, it's however you want to do it. And for me, I was like, he's a young kid, let him have the money. You were like, he's a young kid, to hell with him.
That is not what happened. Braden and I had a very, very, very good business arrangement, actually, and he was paid for it. So, on top of that as well, he didn't do all the work. It was very much a collaboration, you know. So, don't give me that face, Jim.
Mate, listen, whatever helps you sleep at night.
So, what did you get installed into that hilt then from Izzy?
Okay, so it's the CFX
nice.
board, which obviously I'm playing with. It's the 22mm KR speaker.
Dude,
yeah,
we're going to talk about that speaker in a little bit.
It's
a great speaker for 22mm, right?
It's amazing. I don't know all the ins and outs of it because that's why I sent it to a professional. Because I'm like, I don't know. But I will. There is a video coming up on my channel soon where Izzy is going to talk about what she actually did to it and what she put in it, because so much has changed. It's like she moved the button, like the grip isn't the same grip that I started with.
I thought I noticed that actually, yeah.
The grip used to be well thick because at the time that we were in a pandemic and we couldn't get the right size thing. So we had to just scale up. So the grip was way too big. So that got changed. The button got moved. The pommel got changed. We added a D-ring to it, added the clamp to it, which the clamp was totally and utterly her idea. Originally, I wanted
a Graflex clamp on that. Is genius. I love it.
Originally, I wanted a leather wrap on it, and she's just like, why don't we see what it looks like with a clamp on it? And she put a clamp on it, and I was like,
She is a
Very good
sucker for a
idea.
graph flexor, is she?
Yeah, I
She
mean,
is. Yeah.
but also it worked. It worked perfectly with the hilt. It's for me, it's somewhere between Anakin and Luke and a little bit me. Do you know what I mean?
I would not disagree with you. Sorry, I would not
You know,
disagree there. It's very
so
unique. Very
so,
unique.
and the thing that annoyed me, right, is when I first got this, because I had this custom made originally in the first instance, 100% to my specifications. About 4 months ago, on his site, he released exactly the same thing with an ever slightly longer grip, and I was like, "That's my design
No way.
that you're now selling to everybody." I designed, and that really annoyed me.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not kosher.
I'm not cool with it, but it's fine because it's not that saber anymore.
No,
It's not that saber anymore. This is my saber, and nobody else has it, and that's why I love it.
it's definitely better now, you know. And just for
Yeah,
anyone watching, that video might already be up. We do record these episodes in advance, so go and check
possibly.
out Jim's channel. It might be up already. It might not be.
Again, I record stuff in advance, so I don't know.
No, that's good. That's fine then.
Yeah, it's not recorded yet, but who knows? You know,
Who
I don't know
knows?
about you, but I do a lot of content all at once.
I try. I've had
Twice you can
I've
schedule
had
it.
this thing for the last 6 months where I've promised myself that I'm going to record 10 videos in a row, upload them, and have them there. And I'm like,
Ready to go.
nah, I haven't got the time.
No,
You know, I can bust 2 or 3 out, but at the time that I bust 2 or 3 out, I don't have time for a couple of weeks, so I use those 2 or 3 for those weeks,
just to
and then I'm back to nothing again. It's really starting to annoy me because I'd love to be more organized and have, you know, but I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 Saber reviews to do in the next God knows how long. So I think, you know, I'm on annual leave just now from work. So
Nice.
if I can get one day, maybe this week, and just bust out 5 of them, you know, and just be a bit more organized, then I'd be happy with that.
I have 24 Saber reviews to do.
Oh, yeah, you do. And I'm looking forward to every single one of them.
And I've decided that I'm going to start reviewing Lego as well, you know, properly. Like, because this is it.
Not?
Like, for me, I'm like, I don't know why I've just been stuck reviewing lightsabers. Not I've stuck reviewing lightsabers, but because that's been kind of like my main thing recently. And I'm just like, all the time I've got this backdrop and I never talk about Lego. It's ridiculous.
Oh, no, that's definitely something that you need to get into.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just
my
sabers.
dream saber, you were asking.
Your dream saber, yes. So
my dream saber at this present moment in time, because I feel like I own most of my dream sabers now, it would have to be Mauls from Rebels.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's a gorgeous one. That's a nice one.
With the bit at the top and the
Yep.
That it's that
tasty.
because I don't own a well yet. I don't own a stuff.
I'm trying to think actually where I think Corbanth might have done a run of those mall ones.
I know one place that does one.
Yeah, but we're not going to go there.
No, it's annoying because it's really nice.
Yeah, but is it though?
Well, this is it. It may look nice
in life, is it?
And also, like,
because their Ahsokas look great, and then like one of them's about 7 stories tall.
So big, it's ridiculous. So anyway, but ultimately, I will find. I'm sure someone soon will do one, and you know, then it will be mine.
I know KR has got a lot lined up. Can't talk specifics, but I know they've got a lot lined up for this year and next year. So maybe one of them, I don't know specifics, but one of them might be a mall. I've heard rumors.
His from Rebels is there. It's up there. That's the next one that I would want to buy that I don't already own that I want to upgrade.
Profi or CFX? Is what we go into it. And this will lead into our next question.
Do you know what? Right, I'm going to be really controversial here before we get into your next question. I'm not sure I would want a staff NeoPixel.
Well, that depends on what you want to do with it.
I want it to sit on my stairs and look very, very nice. You can't do anything with that Maul one. You can't spin that Maul one. There's a big metal thing in the way.
No, you can't. You can't. Well, I mean,
if you want to try and cut your hand off,
could be exciting.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's an option.
Why not?
No, I honestly think I would just go RGB with that one. I don't think I would.
You'd probably go CFX then, just go Tri-Cree.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, something simple, nothing crazy.
Or what you could do is you could go NeoPixel with it, but give yourself the option, because stock do these little pucks now.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically where's my...
You just slot it in, don't you?
It's basically like, if I can get this Saber Trail blade plug apart. Is it going to come apart? No, it's not. Basically, it's a little this little puck at the bottom here just slides into the blade plug.
Yeah.
And you just slot it in. It's NeoPixel at the bottom, and it powers your LEDs. And you just put in a hollow blade.
Hollow blade.
And you can, so you could do that and have the option of potentially both.
Yeah.
Which might be the better option. You've
just increased the price 3 times.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered your Dream Saber. Then it's a beautiful hilt, actually, really, really nice. And you will get one.
Oh, I know.
I'll be waiting for that phone call and that message going, I got it.
Yeah. I know I said I wasn't buying any more, but
okay.
That's the problem with Dream Sabers is once you own one, you have a new Dream Saber.
This is why I have not bought the Mace Windu 8.9 yet.
Fair. I get it.
I have the option of many.
Yeah.
Anytime. But I haven't got it because I know once I get that, it's like chasing that white rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you've got it? No, you don't.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be something else. It's like it's like me with cars. I love cars. I am ridiculous with cars. I've had 3 cars in 3 years. I can't stop.
That's too many.
I know. I am ridiculous, right? It's another one of my vices.
I mean, that's an expensive voice to have. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, you're not lying, by the way.
Jesus.
Although saying that, the pandemic did kind of help with this other one. To be fair, whether that's a correct thing to say or not, I don't know. But the car market did fly through the kind of roof, and the secondhand prices went through the roof.
Yeah.
But yes, basically, it's almost kind of, for me, it's almost like that, where I know for a fact that if I get that mace, then something else will creep up.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't got the mace yet.
I like that plan. It's a good plan. I can't keep to that. As soon as that Maul is readily available, it will be in my house.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. And I cannot wait to see it in action.
Yeah. Me too.
I can't wait.
I'm already excited.
I can't wait to get that message. I'm at the hospital.
Yeah. Cut my hand off. I thought it would be fine.
I partially decapitated myself.
Yeah.
So, out of the ones that you own, favorite soundboard. Now I know you've just got the CFX, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you've got Profi. Have you got? You've got Xeno, haven't you?
Yes.
So, what would you say? And try and be kind of. Most people just go Profi, hands down, and I get it. But
I'm not.
Out of the ones that you have used,
I'm going to go CFX.
Why though? Because you haven't used it an awful lot.
No, but what I've been able to do with it without having used it an awful lot is about the same amount that I've been able to do with Profi, and I've had that for a year.
That's very true.
I had to get... So my blade style that I had set up with my custom sound font on my Profi Saber, it had to be built for me because I didn't know how to do it. Right?
Yeah.
And because you can sit there and try and figure it out if you want to. You can try and figure out how to write code and figure out where your ignition parts go, and your cutting edge goes, and all. Right. So I got somebody else to build it for me. So what happens? It starts green, goes to purple. The blaster deflects a green. When you do the force effects, when you swipe it, the cutting edge goes green. So it's a purple blade with green accents. Right. I had to get someone to build that for me, and we went back and forth. In fact, it was Braden. We had to go back and forth like 5 or 6 times, going, "This isn't quite right. This isn't exactly right. Can we do something about this? The retraction time's a little bit off. Can we change this?" I got my CFX. I went into the menu, changed the color of the Preon, changed the color of the blast deflex, changed the color of the swipe. And the thing with CFX that Profi doesn't do is the blade retraction is always in time with the sound.
Profi does do that now with OS 6. But
right? But you asked me about right now.
But you're not wrong. You're not, because if anyone was to ask me right now, based on ease of use and customization, I would have to say CFX. I only have one CFX, and that's my Saber Trio Vectra. But I would agree with you. As much as I love Profi,
I just think it's way more user friendly.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're
like,
not wrong.
You want to throw a sound font on there? You literally put the thing in your computer, drag and drop, put it back in. You know, you don't have to go into a config file and hope to God that you've made sure that you've had the little comma and the closed bracket, because if you haven't, everything goes wrong. And yeah, just for me, for ease of use, I'm going to say CFX.
Cool. I feel like I've stressed you out there.
You have a little bit, because I know people are going to come for me.
Okay, so it's time for a little bit of show and tell.
Okay, what do you want to see? I have everything.
Well, that's a very open question, Jim.
Yeah.
So let's not go there, man.
What do you want to see?
What have you brought with you to tell us about?
Okay, so there's a couple of little things that I wanted to just show, because they're pretty special to me. Like, obviously, I have a ton of Lego. You can see it. I move the camera, but it will turn off. Like, I've got even more there. I've got my helmets around, and they're great, and I love them. I love my UCS Falcon, everything. But there are certain items, Star Wars items, that I own that are special to me in a little bit more than just I went out and bought these.
Yeah.
You know? So the first one, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this. This is a film cell.
Yo.
Return of the Jedi. It's got your certificate of authenticity there. It's number 189 out of only 300. Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars film, hands down. Right. My favorite part of Return of the Jedi is when Luke goes nuts. Right.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, because it's just like there's the line there, and where does he go from here? And this film cell is exactly that bit where Vader goes, "Sister," and he goes, "No," and legs it out, and that's
completely ham.
You can see him lifting. You can't see. I don't know. Maybe you can. Lightsaber, and he's about to run out. So this is a big deal. But not only that, my dad bought me this. And my dad passed away like 15 years ago. We didn't always see eye to eye. We weren't the best mates. We're very, very different people. I'm very chilled out. He was in the army and the police force. We didn't gel. But we did when it came to Star Wars. Like, Star Wars was our thing. He took me to see Star Wars when I was 5, all 3 of them back to back in 1983. No matter what it was, Star Wars always brought us together. And so he bought me this because he knew that this was my favorite part. And so that, for me, is kind of my favorite thing. I know it's not much, and I know to other people they're like, it's just a film cell that anybody
don't
sure, of course. Absolutely. I mean, you know, people can get these wherever, but this is special. That's super, super special to me. It's one of my favorite things. Along with that, I have my... people are going to get a little bit jealous of this. I have my cast and crew tickets from episode 3 of Revenge of the Sith.
Dude, that's killer.
Yeah. So I knew somebody who worked on it, and they were like, "Listen, we can't make it. It's cast and crew, so you're going to need to dress up properly." Do you want to go and see Revenge of the Sith with all the cast?
Suited
And
and booted.
I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that happily, most happily. So yeah, so they're a pretty big deal for me.
That's awesome, man. That's cool.
I should probably have them framed. I'm not gonna lie.
I would definitely get them framed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got a lot of stuff,
but you've kept them in very good condition for nearly 20 years.
Just sitting like this. But yeah, I went to see that with my sister, and that was a really good day. We had a lot of fun, and that was pretty special.
Did you rub shoulders or meet anyone from the film?
I wouldn't say I met anyone because we weren't supposed to be there.
But
everybody was there, so I walked past Ewan McGregor, I walked past Liam Neeson, George Lucas was there. People were there, and I've never been so restrained in my life. All I wanted to do was lick George Lucas's face, and that wouldn't have been allowed. So
I can just imagine you with your three-piece tux on and a straight
George,
jacket.
hi, how are you?
Wearing a straight jacket just to restrain yourself from licking George Lucas up and down.
One of those Hannibal Lecter masks on, so I can't get it back.
Oh, it's so good, man.
It was a good day. It was a really good day. We didn't get to go to the after party, obviously, because I think people realised by that point that we weren't supposed to be there. But it didn't matter to me. I got to see Revenge of the Sith, and with everybody.
And you never got kicked out?
No, got all the way through to the end, and everybody cheered and clapped, and I'm like, are you lot clapping yourselves? Because that's a bit weird. That's not very English.
Yeah, well, you need to feed the ego a little bit, like you need to feed your own ego or something. I done brilliantly there on that.
I was very, very good in that. My goodness me. Did you see that from with the script we were working from? Do you see what we managed to do?
That 60-second portion of the movie that I edited for 5 months, it worked out perfectly.
Amazing. That bit where the ship went past.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just incredible. But yeah, no, it was a good day. It was fun times, and something I definitely won't ever forget. I have one more thing, one more special
by
thing.
all means.
And I think our friend Carter might be a little bit jealous of this because it is my original Vader helmet signed by Dave Prowse. It's this helmet's from MGM Studios in Orlando from
1940.
Not that old. 90 something. It was in the.
I think I remember seeing them round about 95, 96.
Yeah. The end of the Star Tours, you'd go in the little shop and they'd have all of these. And each year we went, I bought a different one. So I got a Vader, I got a Boba Fett, I got a Stormtrooper, and I got an Imperial Guard. How have they not made a decent? How have Black Series not made an Imperial Guard helmet?
I don't know, man, but the Vader one was kind of hooky as well. The Vader one was great concept, but the face was a little bit out of proportion.
I've got the Vader one. It's all right.
It's all right. The pictures of it look a little bit kind of, but
again, no, the Vader helmet. The problem is they try to get symmetrical, and the Vader helmet's not symmetrical.
Well, that's the thing. They tried to make it symmetrical on Revenge of the Sith, but the original one was nowhere near symmetrical.
Yeah. But I mean, this isn't perfect by any means. Like, obviously, he's got big old eyes and stuff, but it didn't matter. Back then, this was your option.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, for me, it was the perfect option because I owned a Darth Vader helmet, and then I met Dave Prowse, and he signed it for me. So, it's the little things like that mean the most. Just those moments in time, Comic-Cons where I met Dave Prowse, or like Kenny Baker, when Kenny Baker signed my dad's R2-D2.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, because R2-D2 is my dad's favourite. So every time there was a Comic-Con that Kenny Baker was at, my dad would be like, I'll come.
The legend that is Kenny Baker.
Yeah. So good times. Like, I love my stuff that I buy, but the moments are the bits that I cherish.
I can definitely relate to it, and I mean, it's funny because I'm predominantly a lightsaber channel, and if anyone asks me what's the favorite lightsaber that I own, it's none of this behind me. It's one that's up on my wall. It's my 2007 MR Yoda, purely because, you know, my grandmother, it was the last Christmas gift that my grandmother got me before she passed away.
It's
you
the
know,
moment.
and it's the sentiment, it's the attachment, you know, that I have to it, and it will always be the favorite. You know, I've toyed with the idea of maybe sending it over to Benji and having it converted, and I still might do it, you know, just because I want to keep it.
Yeah.
As you know, the blade to me isn't important. It's just I don't know, but I completely get and understand where you're coming from with certain items and having sentimental value, you know.
But it's
Absolutely.
like my custom saber now, you know, as well. That is not just a thing anymore. That's a sentimental piece because my friend did it. You know what I mean? There was my moment in time where we connected and we talked about things and we came up with this, and you know, my friend did it for me. So it has more meaning to me than
Absolutely.
no matter how pretty it is, you know, this will always have more meaning to me than this. And even if I got another like custom made hilt, it still wouldn't mean the same as this because the amount of time and work and, you know, just sheer love that goes into it. It's the connections that you have with it opposed to the item itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you very much for that. We're going to round it off with a little game of Who Knew. Are you ready?
Yes.
Cool. Favorite ever Star Wars character?
Luke Skywalker.
Favorite original trilogy movie?
Return of the Jedi.
Favorite prequel movie?
Revenge of the Sith.
Favorite sequel movie?
Last Jedi.
Did Greedo shoot first?
No.
Rogue One or Solo?
Rogue One.
Favorite lightsaber blade color?
Purple.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Rebels or Clone Wars?
Rebels.
Where do you think Star Wars will be in 10 years?
Wow, that's an incredible question. That's not a quick fire question at all. In 10 years, I think we're just going to have just more of everything. Everything we've ever wanted.
Just more?
Just more of it.
More?
More of it. In my face. Please. Thank you. Yes.
And lastly, favorite Star Wars based memory?
Cinema with my dad. Easy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Jim, thank you.
That wasn't that hard.
No, absolutely not. No, just a little quick fire round questions that are
it was good.
Personal to you. Just Jim, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you for having me on. It's been a blast.
Your memories, for showing us your stuff. And obviously we see plenty of you on the channel, so we'll no doubt see you again real soon.
Always in the background, mumbling about something.
Everyone, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please go and subscribe to this guy right here.
There you go. So confusing.
I will leave a link in the description below to his channel. And until next time, take care and may the Force be with you all.